Welcome to the Passion Professors podcast hosted by Earth.University, where stories of life experience and purpose inspire and unite humanity. Here's your host, Lindsay Andreotti.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Passion Professor podcast. I am your host, Lindsay Andreotti, and I am super excited today to talk to two amazing gentlemen. I have Jason Holzer and Jim Huber, who together have co-founded an organization called 4D Athletes. These two gentlemen have a combined experience of 35 years in coaching, athletic directing, being dads, and just being amazing human beings on the planet. I welcome you both here today. Thanks for being with me.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Super stoked. So tell me a little bit as we get kicked off here, why did you start 4D Athletes? Where was the genesis of this idea?
You want to start, Jason, or you want me to go?
This has been your workings for 8 to 10 years. So
Lindsay, myself, I see, athletics is such a big thing, and so many people are spending a lot of time and money in athletics, especially youth athletics. But I see about, like, the statistics show, like 70% of kids quit playing a sport by the time they're 13, and less than really 3% of kids go on past high school and play in NCAA Division I, 6% if you add junior college and, NAI schools. So the percentage of people usually all the time are spending on the hard skills of sports. They stop at one point, and I feel like we're not teaching the life skills to set people up for success in and out of sport. So for me, it's like, okay, let's go about it a little bit differently. Let's start teaching intentionally the life skills through sports and develop these kids up for success with something they truly desire to do.
That's just awesome. And I am sharing this passion big time at Earth.University. That's a major part of our mission, is to give people those skills to live the life they want to live. So tell me a little bit about what you were seeing in your work in high schools, I'm assuming, as athletic directors and coaches. What were you noticing about these kids, about youth? Were they getting their hopes up so high and then being just completely deflated? Or, what were you noticing that caused you to say, we got to help them with more than just sports? Jason, you want to take that one?
I think what I noticed was that we were teaching these physical skills that whenever they move on to something else professionally, that they're not going to use anymore. So, and I saw a lot of kids, like they're managing their emotions they struggle with, communication, punctuality, like you name it, those things that you're going to need as you transition into, adulthood, and so, like, things that are going to really help you set you up for success. And so, like, Jim and I have had multiple conversations, like, what are we doing with sports as a vehicle to really help teach these kids, the things that they're going to use, the skills that they're going to transfer over to adulthood, and not just how to hit a baseball or how to shoot a basketball or how to swing a golf club. Those are great things. And those are things that, are fun to learn how to do and be really good at. But at the end of the day, like, how is that going to transition you into being a better person?
Oh my gosh, it's so important. I mean, I know it was a while ago, but I remember when I was in high school and my track coach, I was in track because I really liked kind of an individual sport, but that was also a team sport. I learned the best skills about teamwork and how to generate team camaraderie and support for one another in your individuality through running track. And it was because my coach had that life skill perspective baked into his DNA, thank God, that I felt like I got so much more out of it. And I know, there are some coaches out there that are wanting to do this and trying to do this. Tell us more about what is 4D doing that might even be even more cutting edge. Like, it's on the forefront of even helping coaches become better coaches.
Yeah, I think to go on to that, you think about this, like you're talking about track. Coaches are really trained to teach the hard skills, right, in practices and rapping it out. And we call it, like, constant spaced repetition. You're doing something day in and day out of mastering a skill set. I feel like in the life skills, we don't do that, right? We might talk about something, but that's it. But you don't really know it unless you're doing something. So for us is, let's take life skills and put it in a way that coaches can teach it, because a lot of coaches don't have the time to put together life skills to teach it in an intentional way. So get it for them in a place to understand this is how you can teach it and do it on a daily basis that reemphasizes stuff for your student athletes, but then also give them action items that they're doing so they're actually learning it, right? You don't know it unless you're doing it, and then maybe they can teach others. Last thing I want to kind of reinforce what Jason, you talked about is one thing we see too is a lot of athletes struggle with their confidence. They struggle with their self-image, so they get to a point to where I've had high level athletes that people come to me and say they're struggling. They don't know what to do. And that's why part of me is like, okay, can we help these athletes get more confident, get a better self-image of themselves to have more success in the sport?
Boy, I'll tell you, confidence. That's big. Jason, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, and just piggyback on what Jim just said is, identity. So many times kids play sports from like 7 to 8 all the way through 18, maybe early 20s. And that's what they identify as. And whenever that's gone, whenever that's done, they don't know, like, who am I now? Like, I'm not playing basketball anymore. I'm not playing baseball anymore. Like that, they're stuck as like, they're an athlete that's a person. And whenever we're trying to show them, like, no, you're a person first. That plays sports is what you do. It's not who you are.
Exactly.
Well, as you said, Jason, on that is people, they have a hard time transitioning out of sports.
Yeah.
You've seen it, so many individuals that are 30, 40, whatever, and they're still like back in the day. They're still trying, and they struggle to move on past what it is that they were doing.
That's a really good point. You have so many juicy nuggets in there. I mean, one that I've seen myself working with high school kids is that identification with their sport or their talent even. It doesn't even have to be a sport, but in your case, you're working through sports. But there's a thing that happens that they think that that's who they're going to be forever and ever. Amen. And the truth of the matter is this generation is probably going to see 4 or 5, maybe even 7 careers, like completely different skill sets being applied. And so you might have played sports at, high quality level until you were 20 or 21, but then it's time to shift into what's next and who are you? And then what's the skill that you bring? And these life skill pieces go with you throughout the whole thing, through all the way through, knowing how to balance your checkbook, or knowing how to be kind to others, or knowing how to understand how to deal with emotional trauma. All of that stays with you for your whole life. And I love what you're doing to bring in this underpinning that can go with you no matter what career you choose, no matter when you choose it. So I think it's awesome.
Like a personal story, I thought, coming out of college, I was going to be a PE teacher and a basketball coach for the next 40 years. And last year I wrote a book. Like 10 years ago, I would never thought like, oh yeah, hey, you're going to be an author. Like, never thought that was going to be a possibility. So, it is true. Like, you even currently we'll go through different phases and different changes as life progresses, because especially if you're more open up to being things like, well, okay, maybe I'm supposed to be more of this but this was a purpose to get me to what was supposed to be. I had to learn this first to get to where I can maybe transition and mold myself into something else and not just be stuck in like this, I'm going to be this for 35 years. The old industrial revolutionary thought process is very, not necessarily the case anymore.
I love that. And it's so true. I mean, I'm in my 50s and I can tell you, I never thought I'd be doing what I'm doing right here, right now. I mean, when I was your age, Jason, if someone had said, you're going to have a podcast someday, I would have been like, what is that? Like, so I just want you to, things are moving really quick. So tell us a little bit about what does 4D Athletes do? How would someone engage with it? Where does it live and how can they find it?
Yeah, I mean, you can find it. We have 4dathletes.com, so the website you can find. The idea we have is we have an online type learning portion of this. And what we want to do is we want to get the coaches working with the athletes so they can coaches can watch this, in a classroom before practice. Kids can watch it, in car rides before they come into practice, and then coaches can go through it with them. And then also parents, we really suggest they go through it as well with their kids at home, because a lot of these life skills that we're going through are things that even the parents, maybe they don't have as well. Totally. And so it's kind of the village, like you have these individuals raising a child together, and we have it in bite-sized chunks. So the idea is like taking a life skill topic and we stack them, let's say a weekly topic, and we do bite-sized chunks for 5 days out of the week. So we do subtopics. And then we just get videos that are entertaining, 3 to 5 minutes with some text and actual items they do daily We do that 5 days a week. And then we have a day 6 is a day review, quick review, take a little quiz on it. And day 7 is a day reflection. Let's reflect on what you've learned, how you use it, how it made you better throughout the week, how you can use it moving forward. We stack 1 week upon another on these kind of life skill topics.
I think it's awesome. I've actually seen it, and I want to let the listeners know, even if you had a child who didn't want to do sports, the 4D Athletes tool, we'll call it the course, the opportunity, the program is so designed for this generation. It is bite size. It is simple to follow. It's actually kind of fun. I think that a lot of young kids are going to find it really fun. And Jason, maybe you can share a little bit about where you're taking it next, because I heard that there's a future rendition that's coming out soon.
Right now, we're kind of doing, 6th through 12th grade is our initial program, but we're even looking to do work with, 3rd to 5th grade kids. So we're working with helping them understand the importance of the life skill process sooner in life, so they don't have to worry about they don't have to grow up and all of a sudden fix what they didn't learn earlier. So, the reason why the personal growth injury is so big, and Jim has told me this multiple times, is because people never understood who they were. Right. And so if you got kids that understand who they are at younger ages, they don't have to figure it out later. They already know. And just think how much more powerful the next generation can be if they're fully equipped and they're confident, they're self-motivated, they're empowered, because they understand who they are, and therefore they do things because of who they are, and not the opposite way,
Totally.
What Jason's saying too, if you think about it, with life skills training, is it's this personal development industry is billions of dollars business, right? And I hear it all the time. Everybody says the kids need this. The kids need this, but they're not getting it. And the thing is, schools can only do so much, and they have restrictions, and certain schools can do different things. And then the parents at home, a lot of times when kids get to junior high and high school, they stop listening to their parents because they think they know more than their parents. And we hear it all the time, Jason and I as coaches, oh, you told my son this one time, he came home and did it. I've been telling him for a year. And Billy Graham talks about, coaches will transform more people in 1 year than the majority of people will do in a lifetime. So, and kids want to play sports. We have the carrot. A lot of times they want to sit in a classroom. They don't want to listen to their parents at home. So we have this carrot as a sport the kids want to play. And if the coaches use it in a right way, we can transform kids through the sports. We can make this world such a better place.
Oh, it's beautiful. I gotta hear your passion in that too, Jim. I mean, it is time. It's time for us to be looking for alternates for our children. And I think that your online course is probably most specifically good timed, because if you're watching this in the year 2020, this is the year of COVID-19, and a lot of kids have been displaced out of their dream, whatever it may have been. They aren't even able to play sports in some areas and in some places. So I think what you're teaching and what you're showing them is probably the most perfectly timed opportunity for both students, parents, and coaches for wherever they may be. So I'm totally thrilled. So maybe with our last couple of minutes, tell us your why. Why are you doing this? Why does this matter to you?
Go, Jace.
Oh, well, for me personally, I lost my dad to suicide whenever I was 17. So this is the mental piece. I want to help kids have a strong mentality to where, this is my suicide prevention, quite honestly, like being proactive about teaching who they are and giving them strategies whenever, life hits the fan. They see that as an opportunity for growth, not as a detriment. You know what I mean? So that's my why, is truly to help prevent suicide, but in a more proactive approach.
Beautiful. There are a lot of kids today that are depressed and anxious because of what's going on. And I think you're 110% spot on. This is suicide prevention. This is wellness creation. So I'm wholeheartedly behind that. Jim, what's your why?
Yeah, my why is I feel like that sports has been developed in a way that we need to change. And I feel like there's too many people going down this maze the wrong way, spend a lot of time, money, resources on the wrong things. And they're getting burned out. They're getting used by sports instead of using sports in a way that can benefit them and their children throughout the process. And I also see that if we can too many people are spending too much time on the hard skills of sports, they end up quitting, they don't use it anymore, and they don't have these essential skills. And the last part, I feel like parents don't have an understanding truly how to navigate their children through sports to have a positive experience. So I want to also create awareness for parents to understand, hey, here's the way to go about to navigate your child through sports. So not only they have a positive experience, you as well, and then the coaches, administrators do as well in that process.
That's beautiful. Very holistic. I love it. So you guys are amazing. I love 4D athletes. We are going to make it available in our Earth.University library. So please check that out in the description box below. I also would love for you guys to just share with everybody how they can reach out to you. What would be the best way? You can give them an email, you can tell them how to connect with you, but I think there's a lot of people on this planet who would love to support this mission and maybe even be part of it.
Yeah, for myself, I'm probably most active on LinkedIn. That's where I find that's the social media platform where I find like you actually get to a purpose and things. So that's where I spend most of my time is, and the best way to connect with me is on LinkedIn.
Okay, great. Thanks, Jason. How about you, Jim?
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. Jason's got me doing more LinkedIn. I got to get better at the social media part of it. So I'm working on that, but also emails is a great way. You can reach me at, you can, email me at jim@coachhuber.com and I can, respond to you there as well.
Excellent. And you can also reach out at Earth.University and we will get you connected to Jason or Jim. Gentlemen, thank you so very much for being here today and for sharing your amazing passion for the youth of our world. I am genuinely impressed with what's going to happen next for this planet because you exist. So thank you for sharing that. And to all of our
thank you for that. Hey, by the way, Lindsay, I want to say thank you to you because with what you're doing, I mean, seriously, the passion behind your vision of wanting to create this university and Earth.University to be able to transform people and provide these resources and collaborate with people is like, it's amazing. So you have a passion and drive, and I see your vision, and you're truly going to transform the world with what you're trying to do. So thanks for doing that.
Thank you. We're in this together. And thank you for finding me, Jason.
Hey, you know what? It's we can thank Mind Valley for me taking a leap of faith to have that one coaching call, and I was like, oh, I want to keep in touch with Lindsay. I think she's got something going on. So
I love it. I love how the universe works. And here's the thing, we are in this soup together and we're all here to live our passion and purpose. That is the dream. And I see a world where every single human being gets to do that. And I think with some of the tools that you're teaching to our youth, they will become the leaders and entrepreneurs of tomorrow, which is our mission in life, is to just change for future generations. So thank you both. And for all of our listeners out there, if you have a passion you'd like to share, please reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you because we believe that everyday wisdom is what's going to make the difference in the world. So please send me an email or connect with us. You can find all the information in the description box below. And we look forward to hearing from you as a member of Earth.University. And that's it for now. Bye.